Áine Cahill and you're watching IndieBuddie.com. So I'm Áine Cahill, as I said, and I am 22 and I'm a singer-songwriter from Cavan in Ireland. And yeah, that's me. So I don't know, so I'm kind of weird. Like when I was growing up I was really into sports, so I was playing like every sport that there was in our village, really. And then when I turned 16 or 17, I went through like a hard time like with myself. You know, when you're young, like everyone goes through like a hard time. Well, I went through a hard time and then I kind of switched everything around. I remember when I was doing my junior cert, I was listening to a lot of Lady Gaga, funny enough, and I just remember sitting there and she did an acoustic performance of one of her songs called Paparazzi, and it was on a radio station. And whatever way she was playing the piano, I just said, I want to play piano now. So I went and I got a piano for Christmas and I started playing. So I suppose, I don't know what in Cavan inspired me to do music. But as I was saying earlier on, I never really thought I could get anywhere until I seen the lads, the Stripes, they got signed and they were travelling the world and things like that, and I thought maybe I could do it too. So I suppose they would be an inspiration from Cavan, definitely, for me. I suppose what I want to do anyway is tell a story, and for me music is like an escape, and it always was that for me. And I suppose when I started writing I was trying to get my own feelings out, so I did it in a way that when someone else was listening they wouldn't know exactly what I was saying, but they could, their mind would be taken away. Like for the pictures, you're kind of, maybe not the pictures, maybe White Piano is a song, it's very descriptive, so you're kind of picturing yourself in the situation. And the same with Black Dahlia, you can kind of, when you listen, you can picture yourself in that situation. So yeah, I suppose storytelling is a big part of what I do, and it's what I want to do. I never want to be someone that writes about things that don't mean anything to me personally, so it's just how it came naturally. And Black Dahlia, I feel, I don't even know how I wrote the song, I just don't even know. It's crazy. I remember watching American Horror Story. Yeah, I love American Horror Story. And it was in season 1, like she's in like maybe 2 episodes. And I remember looking up the story of Black Dahlia, and then I went and I wrote it like maybe a week later. Because for me, I think of like a title. Title is what I start with first when I'm writing. And then I'll come back to it if I remember it. I think like then it's a good song and I should write it. But if I don't remember it, then I kind of, it's gone. It wasn't going to be good anyway. Everyone said that's a song that touches a lot of people as well. I remember before I even put it anywhere, I literally just wrote it, and it's the second song I ever wrote fully in my life. And I played it for someone and she just cried, and I didn't know, but she had lost her mother before. I didn't know that, but it touches people, and it's not a personal story for me, really. It's more based on the story of Marilyn Monroe, how she was like orphaned and things like that. But I don't know, I just felt like I had to write the song. I know it didn't, nothing happened to me, but I know the day I wrote the song I did have an argument with my mum, so I kind of put myself in the position, what would I do without my mum, or how would I feel without my own mum. Yeah. I tried to get the emotion out and I hope I did. I didn't grow up with it. As I said, I love sports. No, I think when I was around 18 I kind of got obsessed with old Hollywood, especially like people like Marilyn Monroe really inspired me. So yeah, I just kind of delved into that whole kind of vibe and the lifestyle back then. I love it, and I love the like soundtracks to all the films. Yeah, I really got inspired by all that. I love it.
When you're writing your own songs?
I never did before, but some of the stuff I've been writing recently now, people have been like, is that about? Who's that about? Tell me who that is. I think I know who it's about. I'm not worried though. Like I'd never say no someone's name, and I'd never literally write what happened. But the new single is called Plastic, and it's kind of clear. Well, clear to some people what it's about. But yeah, but I don't care. Like the whole point of doing music is to like get my feelings out and show people who I am. See, the song The Pictures actually mentions Alice in Wonderland, and this was maybe 2 years ago when I recorded that song, and I wanted to put out pictures with it at the same time, so I did a whole photo shoot looking like the Mad Hatter. But I haven't worn a hat now in a long time.
Okay, so it's
yeah, but I always wear kind of funky shorts, like that's my thing, like weird shorts. I love that. So for maybe just under a year we were touring around Ireland doing all these random gigs with a full band, so drums, guitar, bass and piano. But most recently now we've stripped it back and it's gone back to piano and violin and just me, which I think kind of represents my sound more than what we were doing before. But I don't regret playing with the full band. It was really, really exciting on stage, and I could go mad and, you know, get the crowd going, hand claps and all that stuff. But now I'm kind of refining everything again and trying to portray what I want people to know me for, the sound that I want people to know me for.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I suppose everyone had such different styles that they listened to that was in the band, and maybe I kind of got out of my own comfort zone and started listening to more, or say like one of them brought a CD and put it on the car when we were driving to a gig. I'd be listening to everything, so maybe it kind of it did get into my head, because I think the new single, as I said, Plastic, it's reminiscent of Black Dahlia, but it's on more of it's more pop, but it sounds kind of soul rooted, if that makes sense. I think I am growing all the time as an artist, and yeah, I think that the band has helped a lot with that. Yeah. So the show tonight, as I said, is going to be myself and my piano player Louise Johnston, and then our violin player. She joined maybe a month ago. Her name is Áine Cahill. So that'll be from tonight. What can I say? So I'm gonna do 2 brand new songs. One is Plastic and one's called Puppet. And then I'm gonna have like Black Dahlia and all that. We're gonna do a few covers as well. I think you're gonna have a good time. I hope so. I was learning how to do Young and Beautiful because I love that song. And then as I was playing the chords, I don't know what it was. I just realised that the song was the same chords as Bad Romance, so I mashed it up and I took the verses from Bad Romance and the chorus and the bridge from Young and Beautiful, and kind of changed the melody a wee bit. I love that one. I do like that one.
So
maybe this time last year we were in Cork and we were staying in a hostel and we were doing the jazz festival. We had just played the Cork Opera House and we were late to get into our hostel, so we kind of got in through the back door and this man was just there. He wasn't staying, he wouldn't tell us his real name. He booked us into the hostel himself, said he was staying in a tent behind the hostel, and we were all talking about him the next day, like, what is that, you know, kind of discussing like who he was, like what is he doing here, and he just opened our door and appeared and was like, I heard my name, and I don't even know, I just started laughing. It was the weirdest thing, still to this day it's the weirdest thing that has ever happened. I'll never forget it. What do we call him? Philippe. We call him Philippe. He just opened the door, like we were like, from then on we locked the door, like the door was locked all the time. It's like someone could just walk in and just stand at the door and be like, I heard my name. What? I think Glastonbury now has been probably the best experience of my whole life ever. We went over for a whole week. So we arrived on Monday and we left the next Sunday night. What can I say? It's just, you'd swear you are in a city, you know. It's so big and so vast and there's so much to do. You'll never be bored there. Getting the BBC was one of the most important experiences or most important opportunities I've ever gotten, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. And it's funny because we did the show. BBC had emailed us the weekend before. We were at Body and Soul. Actually, it was the day before we were leaving, and they said, we're going to come see you play. So they came to our set. We were playing on the Thursday on a little stage called Bread and Roses. It's a little pub stage, and they came, and maybe that morning at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, they emailed and said, we'd love for you to do an acoustic set on the telly. We were like, yeah. So they told us it'd be Saturday, and they didn't give us a time. They said they'd get back to us. Around this time is when Brexit happened, and Brexit messed up all the schedule for the BBC. And I had told everyone, I was like, I'm going to be on the BBC on Saturday, a big Facebook post. And they said, then everyone was waiting, like the whole of Calvin nearly was waiting for me to be on it. Everyone was so proud that we got it. Like, it's such an achievement, and like, I'm not signed or anything, and it was just such an achievement for us to get there, and I'm so proud that we got there. But the time had messed it up. We get a phone call just after Adele on the Saturday night, which was like 12 o'clock, and they were like, you're on tomorrow instead. it was just, we were waiting the whole day. We were walking around Glastonbury the whole day waiting to get a call. But we even got a better slot, so I'm delighted. We were on just before Coldplay, so I couldn't ask for a better time.
So that was no.
I try to keep that in the back of my head. You know, I just kind of focus on what I'm doing. I'm very in my own head when I'm singing. I want to get my emotions out. Like I try to think about what I was thinking when I wrote the songs, just so I can sing it to the best that I can, you know. But I suppose it is always in the back of your mind, being like, what if I mess this up? Will I get it or not? The first thing I would say is write songs. That is a really important thing in the music industry. Writing your own songs, it's just a good thing to have and be able to do. So write your own songs. Know what you want to do. Have a plan. Get a manager. Get everything set in place before you start doing anything. Otherwise, you're just kind of playing around for no reason. Do you know what I mean? You need to know and say where do we want to be next year? Do I want to be doing the same gigs I did a year ago, or do I want to be somewhere else? You know, you don't want to keep going back, regressing. You want to keep progressing and progressing. So have your plan, write your own songs, and just have a good time. Make sure you love what you're doing, and that's it. I love Rosa Nutty. Rosa Nutty played before me one time in Slane. So Rosa, there's a girl playing for me tonight. Her name is Áine Cahill. She's from Wexford. She's really good. Her voice is very cool, and her sound is kind of bluesy. I really like it. Anyone else? There's a band called The Outer Limits from Cavan. So it's two girls and then 2 lads on bass and drums from the Stripes. So it's kind of they're really interesting. They're cool. They're kind of punk vibe. I suppose that's it. So we have the Soul Out show. Then I have my Soul Out show in London, and the single will be coming out around that time, hopefully. And then I'm doing recording again in November. So that's my plan for the end of this year. Anyway. Thanks for listening to me, and check me out on all social media and things like that. My name's Áine Cahill. Bye.